Welcome to the Once a Cowboy, Always a Cowboy podcast, where you hear the history of Chaney football from the unique perspective of Coach Ron Berdis.
And then we went on to play, I think we went to the city and played Wilson. And that's when they had Sean, the Lane guy, the quarterback. I think it was Lane. He went to go play at Hubbard and went to Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Ohio State because his dad played at Ohio State.
Yes.
Yeah. We shut him down and we beat Wilson handily, and then we went to go play Poland. That's when we went to play in the daytime because I think it was like the sixth game of the year. We went to go play Poland, and which I thought was another. Like out of all the games I played at Chaney, I thought that Niles game was a special game, and I thought that playing Poland in the daytime, because we played them on Saturday, it felt like a college day.
Yeah,
we played them it felt like a college game. We played them in the daytime. They had some good players, and I remember us, that being a defensive struggle. It was going back and forth, and that's when he fumbled the ball. We told you it'd be all right, and we was getting after. Sean Clayton, the quarterback, was Clayton, and we was getting after him. And I remember, and we made some great plays. I remember you coming out and giving us a speech, because it was like 3-2, and it was getting down to the fourth quarter. And I remember you gave a speech like, "Ain't nobody stopped you guys all year. You guys can take this. You guys drive it down there." And I forgot how you worded it, but he was like, "Ain't nobody, you guys been dominating all year up front. Let's go out here and dominate. Take it down here and drive." I remember you giving us that speech, and I remember I don't know what the call was. I think it was like a screen to Mac, and Serrano. It looked like he just threw the ball in the air, and Mac caught. Luckily, he caught it and ran it down to the goal line, and that's when Ed Molina blew that guy off the line, and we ran right behind Ed and scored a touchdown. We go up 8-3, and then we came back on defense. And I remember it was like towards the end, I hit the quarterback low, and I remember Ed Molina came. Ed would have got suspended if he was played now. I mean, he hit him helmet to helmet and rocked Sean Clay. I remember they had to carry him off the field, because Ed Molina just rocked him, hit him helmet to helmet. And I remember they had to carry that kid off the field. And let me say something, man. At that time, I thought we had some of the best fans in the area. It was a lot of support for us at that time. Even when we went 4-6, it was still a lot of support. A lot of people showed up. And I just remember it just being every game, our sideline seemed like it was always our stands. Even though we would play away everywhere, it felt like our stance was always filled. I always feel juiced up when they be like, Chaney. I mean, it was. I thought they was always into it, and our student body was always into it. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. Because it does give you a little more oomph when you got your fans behind you, and I guess that's a credit to you. Just building it up, and putting us out there like that. But yeah, I wish we still have film on that game, but I mean, I can only talk about it. I wish people could see it, but it was a great game, that game. And so we beat them, and then I think we went on to beat Rand, which Ed McElroy just destroyed. I remember first play, it was a kickoff, he ran it back, and I don't know how many yards we rushed for the game. I mean, it was like 42-0 at halftime. And then we played Mooney. We played Mooney that year. And you got the film up, but I remember us struggling in the first half. And I remember that because Coach Roy Guy came to me. Like, he pulled me to the side. He looked at me. He said, "That's BS the way you're playing out there. It's effing BS." And he walked away from me. That's all he said to me, and walked away from me. And I was like, okay. And then
Yeah, we expected a little bit easier of a game. I mean,
Yeah.
we were in a game.
yeah, we was in the game. And,
Well,
yeah,
they were 0-10 that year.
yeah,
That would have been Fecco's first year.
yeah. That was
But
his first.
that was a little deceiving. I mean, a Mooney 0-10 is a little bit different. But
Right.
but yeah, it was touch and go there for a minute.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
just touching.
Yeah.
But I think you had was it that game where
No, that was the game where we ran. I remember this because we was in the field room and we ran power and then power, and we broke it off for like a first down, and then we were playing play action. And once Randall threw me a perfect pass, and I dropped it. I remember him in the field room. He looked at me. He was like, "I can't draw it up any better." He looked at me. He's like, "Hey, I can't draw it up any better, man." He's like, "I can't make the play calls work any better than that. I can't draw it up any better."
well, I remember maybe it wasn't his game, but defensively we had an interception, and then like on our sideline we start returning it, and then you erased somebody.
Yeah, that
It
was
just-
Mooney.
Was that
yeah,
Mooney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
Coach Berdis thought I killed the guy. Yeah, he thought I killed. I thought the guy was. Yeah, that was that game. It was a couple big hits out of that game, but yeah, that was. Yeah, I erased. Yeah, and I remember you telling me, he was like, "Keilen." You felt worried for him. You was like,
It was like one of those,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I
you
remember.
can't get away.
You couldn't do
wasn't
that.
totally right.
Yeah, if I did that today, yeah, I'd have been suspended at least the rest of the season.
It wasn't cheap. It was just
Yeah, that was part of the game. Yeah. But yeah, that was DJ. That DJ intercepted the ball. That was when DJ. But like I said, DJ was always. If you watch film, DJ was always around. It also, I have to say, you know, what made us good that year on defense was the middle of our defense was great. I mean, you had Fernando, you had DJ. You know, each level had a great player, DJ, and you had Juan playing safety. And I remember in the Fish game, Juan Serrano was coming up making tackle after tackle after tackle, and you know he was causing fumbles. I mean, Juan Serrano was making a lot of plays for us back there.
Juan Serrano was a very, very good football player. He filled in as a quarterback. I mean, but really did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, as a leader, and you know, I mean, he was short and didn't have a phenomenal arm, but you know, kept us competitive. Juan Serrano was a good football player.
Yeah, and he could run and make the first downs, and he broke off a couple long runs. He broke off a run against Mookie. That's how we finished the game off. I mean, he made a couple moves and ran it in, and I remember the second half we came out and we got that zone thing going with Mac, and he ran it in. I think like the third or fourth play after halftime, ran it in for a touchdown, and came back on defense. We made a quick stop. Quick 3 and out, drove it again. I think even Goo had a good run that game. So we ran.
Did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. I was just looking at
Marquise Trevathan.
Marquise Trevathan. Yeah, he had a great run that game. And he was a good. Hey, I tell you what, man, Goo was a good fullback. Man, he would come out there and knock the snot out of you if you wasn't ready.
And he'll always be remembered for that fullback slip against Niles in the mud.
Oh yeah, and he caught the pass.
Oh yeah,
Big play.
Yeah.
Big
It was
play.
that was the seal of the deal.
That was the seal of the
Kind
deal.
of with his forearms, I think. So,
That was a big catch. Yeah, but Goo was a good Goo would knock your helmet off. And he did that in the Boardman game. I remember him knocking that kid's helmet off. I mean, Goo would come out there. I think Goo was one of our best fullbacks with kicking it.
He went on to JC in California.
Yeah, yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
He was a great fullback.
They thought very highly of him.
Yeah.
At a point where I think he was getting some looks, and then it kind of just fell off the map there.
But he was a big guy, and he played defensive tackle for us. And
he was slick. You know what I mean? Like he was a Fernando hated when he'd get subbed in on passing situations. You know what I mean? Because he was a good.
Good, like I said, in the Fitch game, like I said, he made a quick swim move and stripped the ball. He made a couple games like that. Made a couple games. But yeah, Goo was a great player for us. Because you would have to like tie him up and twist him up to get the sleeves. And so, yeah, we wore those jerseys. But yeah, I remember playing, and then it was a close game. I remember us breaking all the runs, but we just couldn't punch it in. And we finally do. I think we ran fullback dive. I think I scored a touchdown. And then towards the end of the game, they blocked the punt. And then they picked it up, scored it. So I remember, it came down to the final drive, us with the ball. And I remember you was like, and who also was a great player, don't get enough credit, Josh Tullucky. I remember you telling me.
Oh, yeah.
Turk. Turk. I remember you telling me. They're slanting towards you, so we're going to run towards Turk. I was like, all right. And so I remember the whole drive, we ran sweep. We was running behind Turk's blocking, Josh Tullucky's blocking, and we ran it. I swear we ran it to the right the whole way down. Because Turk was pursuing the edge, running zone, and we ran it all the way down. And then I remember the last drive, I think Goo had a great kick-out block, knocked the dude on his ass. Turk had the corner for Mac. Mac runs it in, touchdown. We go ahead, and then I think they still had there was some time left. We come back out. I think I had a sack, and then we stop them, and then that's when we get the ball back because there was still quite a few minutes left. That's when Goo makes the catch.
Yeah, there was a timeout, and I even asked him. I says, "If we throw it to you, you're going to catch it." And he was
Goo. Yeah,
he was all gunned up. Yeah. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Give me the ball. And he makes the catch, man. And and that was a big win. I thought that was because I think if we would lost that game, we would have to travel for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we won, and we got to play Washington Jesuit at home. And going into Washington Jesuit, I thought, me personally, that was like one of my better games at Chaney. But we didn't have. At the same time, I felt like I had to step up because we didn't have DJ.
Right.
DJ wasn't there. I think he got. I don't even remember him getting hurt in the Niles game, but I guess he got hurt in the Niles game.
Yeah, we lost him in the Niles game.
Yeah, I don't even remember what happened, but that's when you gave the speech about hey, you want to cause. I'll tell you, cause 44. You say so. I want to see that image again. Just him laying himself out there on the field, and what you would do. I mean, like I said, man, there was no better player than DJ, and so yeah, that was. I always say that was like one of the greatest speeches I ever heard, and I heard some good ones. And so we go out there. I think we take like a quick 14-0 lead. I think they scored. I think it was like 13-7.
No, it was the same score as when we beat them in '97.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's 13-7.
13-7.
Yeah, but I remember them kind of. I never felt like
There was a big delay.
Yeah, but I never felt threatened. Like I never felt like they was.
No, they actually snuck in the playoffs. They were
they were
4 and 6.
They were 3-7.
3-7.
And they had a really good quarterback that had gotten hurt.
Correct, and he came back.
But they won some big games. They won big games leading up to that.
I remember.
And they snuck in.
Yeah, I remember they had a good wide receiver, number 4, I think it was.
Yeah,
like a good special talented player. But I never felt like, and I remember they had some big big guys up front too.
That was a big time program.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
Yeah, and I remember them, and so we won that, and like I said, I remember that was like one of my better games. I think I had like 3 sacks. You gave me the ball around the goal line. I had like 2 touchdowns. Yeah, so I mean, it was one of my better games, and we. Like I said, I never felt threatened. Like even though the score was close, I never felt like they could do what they wanted to do. I felt like what we gave them, it was like they made it. I think 4 made a great catch in the end zone, is why they got that 7. And then we go on. I think we lose the next one, but we didn't have DJ. We didn't have. I didn't even think Juan got hurt or Fernando got hurt that game too, against Green. We went to go play Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? And we had, and remember we ran the ball. I remember Ed Mack broke a long run and he got hit. And I remember I was right there, and the ball went out of bounds, went in the back in the end zone.
Touchback on the first drive, yeah.
On the first drive. And I was thinking to myself, man, if I would have just jumped on that ball right in the end zone, how different that game could have went. But they was a good team. I remember the quarterback.
Yeah, they threw the ball.
Yeah,
they threw the ball around.
Yeah, I remember that quarterback was he was down there at the camp with me at West Virginia.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, they was looking at him pretty well too, because he was throwing me the ball at the camp. Yeah, he was throwing some dimes down there. I don't know where he ended up at, but I remember he was even my roommate, because it's a 3-day camp. He was like my roommate, so I knew who he was. And yeah, they was throwing the ball, pitch and catch. I mean, he was a good quarterback and a good player. And then we go into, but I thought it was a good run, and I thought, I definitely thought next year I was like, man, this is going to be our year. I mean, going into my senior year, we had everybody got bigger, stronger. Lee, Mo, McElroy, all those guys, and we had to fill in at quarterback. That's when Justin Hood took over my senior year, and I just remember that first game, Fitch. It was a big game. That's when they had Mike McGlynn,
Mike
McGlynn, DeVanzo,
rain delay.
Yeah, I remember that. But that was the time when we had that zone thing going so good that, like I said, I remember the kid. I remember you would put me in motion, and we was running that way. I remember the kid. He would just run right towards the side. He didn't even care about. It seemed like they didn't care about tackling Mac. It was just trying to bring him back to the party, as I say, bring him back. But I mean, we had that zone thing working so good. It didn't. I mean, and I remember Mac first broke off the long run, and then we got the ball back again. So instead of him running out there, they made him try to slant inside. Well, hell, that's what I want you to do anyway. So now run toward the corner again, breaks it for another long run for a touchdown. I mean, we had that zone thing working so good then that I don't think anybody could just stop it. And then Hood made it. That's when Mike De Niro.
Yes.
I mean, I thought he destroyed DeVanzo. That was when Mike De Niro came back and he made that block.
You remember that?
I thought he destroyed DeVanzo Tate. And, we went on to win that game. That was the rain delay. Lightning came. We had to come back the next day. And I thought they made some good adjustments because it got closer than what it should have been. But
it came down to the end. We needed a play at the end. Didn't I throw you the ball?
He threw me the tight end dump, got the first down. End of the game. Yeah,
we held on.
We held on. Tight end dump right there. They held on to it, and then we went to go play. And then we went to go play Lakeview. I still don't know how we lost that game.
Uniontown Lake.
Uniontown Lake. I said, man, we let one. That was a game I felt like. After that game, I felt like it really hit me. Like, damn, we let one definitely get away from us.
Yeah,
that was a
hard place to play.
Yeah, and then we played Boardman again, and I mean that's when Tom Zetz. I mean he was on point with his passes. When we lost to Boardman. But Tom Zetz was back there. Him and Mike Villagrana. I remember Mike Villagrana scoring like 2 touchdowns in the first half just off of catches.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Zetz was back there. But at the same time, I feel like our offense, we were scoring, and then remember we got the ball back, and we was driving to, I think, to tie the game. It was like 14-21 or something. Mm-hmm. And we tried to run tight end middle screen, and I remember the guy tipped the ball, and one of the defensive linemen caught it and ran it back for a touchdown. And that's what kind of like put the game out of reach. It was like 14-28. And then, we scored. I think we scored a couple more times, but we couldn't stop Zets. I mean, he was throwing that thing all over the field, and we couldn't stop him. And then we got things back on track, playing Campbell, and at the time I felt like up front our defensive line, we was pretty big up there. You remember big Josh Rosa? How big? Mm-hmm. I always thought if Josh Rosa would have played football, like just growing up, I mean, there was no doubt that guy would have been a Division I scholarship. I mean, the dude was big. He was taller than me.
Imagine you two guys. I mean, going to kick out those two DNs, Keilen and Rosa. I mean, that's like.
I had to break up a fight when he in gym class with him and some other kid.
Oh,
I mean, I
you probably say the other kid's life.
yeah. I mean, Josh let me take him to the ground. I mean, I'm sure.
Right.
I mean that dude, because I remember the sophomore year. I mean, my junior year was like his first year. His first year playing was junior year.
Right. Yeah.
And he was. You could tell he was still
just
trying
raw.
Yeah. But, I mean, I remember that Fitch game our senior year. I mean, he was making all the tackles. I mean, hell, I was getting jealous. I was like, well, damn, leave something for me. I mean, he was back there killing them. And he was the reason why, they couldn't get nothing going. I remember he would grab the dude by the jersey and swing him to the ground. I mean, Josh was a big guy. And I remember you telling the story that they went to somewhere and the NFL scout thought he was coming to try out for them or something like that, or
I don't remember that.
Do you remember that? I mean, if y'all would, I don't know, but if y'all would have saw Josh Rosa back in the day, I mean, this dude was huge. Like I said, if he would have played Little League all the way through, and there was no doubt that he would have been definitely a top recruit in the area.
I remember him in the off season. Power clean was
power
clean. I remember he had the best
power
clean.
That was a long way to bring it up.
He put in 295.
I thought he was doing 315.
He may have, but I saw him do 295 the one day, and I was just, all 6'5" or whatever he was. Just that's a long way to go.
Yeah,
and he had a phenomenal lift.
And he was fast. He could move. I mean, he was a good. I thought it could have been a great player. And he was a good player for us.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and then you had Ed Mo. We moved him down to D10. Ed Mo got big. And I remember Ed Mo was being just. I remember playing basketball, and I remember seeing Ed Mo just getting big. And I was like, oh hell, I need to get back into the weight room.
Yeah,
because I was like, man, Ed Mo looks. And I remember he was throwing up, over 350, 375.
He was strong.
Yeah,
he was very strong.
He was strong, and I was like, man, I need to get back in there. So I remember that, and I remember just, going through that season, real quick. I remember us beating Camel handily. We beat some other teams, and then then we played Poland that night, and that was like Ed Max. Yeah. I think he rushed for like over 300 yards. And that's when the time Poland was throwing every down. And so I got to rush. I got to do my favorite thing was rushing. And I remember the game was like at least 3 or 4 hours long because they would throw the ball every time. And I remember after the game, this is the first time it ever happened to me, a player came to me, a Poland player, came in the locker room and he talked to me. He's like, man, he said something. He's like, man, I ain't never had a problem like I did with you tonight, man. I just want you to know you're a great player. I was like, man, I appreciate that. But that was, and that game was on TV.
I remember that,
Yeah, it was on TV. And I mean, that was a game that we needed to get back into the playoffs. I remember after the game, he was like, Chaney's back, baby. And because we won the game, I think we moved to like 4-2. And in Poland, I think it was undefeated. They was always undefeated till we play them. They was undefeated at the time. And that was Matt. That was a play. Remember, he had they spun him in a circle, and somebody grabbed his jersey, spun him around, let go, and he still ran it off for a touchdown. Yeah, that was a great play. That was like one of the great plays of Chaney. But yeah, I remember us. We went out there and dominated them that year, and so then we go on from them. We play Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney. That was lost. We lost that.
Yeah,
one.
we lost that one. That was another tough one. I felt like we should have won.
That was another brilliant call before halftime that they said, just run the clock out. We were up. And I said, well, let's just run toss to Eddie and maybe he'll pop one. And he fumbled. And Doc DiDomenico's nephew ran it in for a touchdown, puts them up.
Yeah, that was definitely. I remember, like, I felt sick to my stomach. We lost that one.
Yeah, second half, Eddie actually intercepted for a touchdown. They called it back.
Yeah,
on a clip.
Yeah, and that might have been me. Because I think I tried to clear another dude out. I don't know. I think that might have been me, but yeah, that's when they had the Stoop. I think one of the Stoop sons was playing quarterback.
One of the Stoop sons was playing in the back. Yep.
Yeah.
He was playing quarterback, and they had a solid running back. I remember because I was hitting him, and it felt like you could just feel like his number was 21. I remember that. I remember hitting the kid a couple times, and it took like everything I had to put him on the ground. And I was like, I don't know if he turned out to be anything more than high school, but I remember hitting that kid a couple times. Like, man, this dude got some power on him. And but yeah, we lost that one. But then after that, we played the city games. We run through those city games. I hurt my ankle the Ran game, and I remember just like not being right for the rest of the year. I was banged up a lot that year. I feel like that was the year I wasn't. I would say I wasn't mentally prepared for it at the beginning of the year of how much double teaming I was going to get, how much I would say how much they was going to run at me or run away from me that year. So that was like new to me, getting double team on every play. I guess you would say game planning towards me that year. So I felt like I started off the year slow. I felt like after the Wilson game, I got my form back. I started to play well, and then we played the Ran game, and I hurt my ankle. I think the kid went low on me or something like that. And then we played, and then
that's the year we played Louisville in the playoffs.
Yeah. That was another game I felt like. That was a game I felt like we could have won. I just didn't feel like we were. I wasn't 100%.
We put it on something about Louisville, evidently, because in '92 when we lost to them, uncharacteristically we put the ball on the ground like 5-6 times, and we didn't have 5 fumbles all year.
In '92.
In '92.
Yeah.
And
that was at Boardman, right? I think.
That was at Boardman.
Yeah.
And then in 2002, right?
Yeah.
2002, we fumbled inside the 10 4 times.
Yeah. I remember us being down there. We just couldn't get it in. I remember us being down there all the time. We just couldn't get it in. So, but I always wanted to ask you, when I played my freshman year, no parents came and complained to you about it? Or?
No.
No.
No. I wouldn't entertain that anyway. I mean, one time, and I've told this. One time, a parent came to me and said, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." About what? And he said, "About my son." I says, "If you're talking about playing time," I said, "the conversation's going to be short." And then he went ahead anyway, and he said, "Listen, I think." I said, "Hold on. What do you do for a living?" He says, "I work at GM." I said, "I'll tell you what. I'm not going to tell you how to make a Chevy. Don't tell me how to coach football." And I walked away. That was the last conversation I ever had with a parent about a kid, other than our last year when a mother thought that her son should be playing. And I said, I'll tell you what, you get your chair and you put it behind us at practice and you watch him and you tell me whether he should be playing or not.
But I remember you used to always give the speech before the season start. He's like, my door is always up to the parents, and you always give that speech. And I thought that was like the tone setter. You to come in and tell you why your son should be playing. I'll tell you why your son's not playing.
Yeah, and I would tell you guys that if you think you're better than someone that's in front of you, then you can come to me and tell me that, and we'll put you head to head, and we'll see who wins.
So they didn't think that, because I know they felt it freshman year. I felt like,
and they might. Those are the boo birds, so to speak. You know, if they really felt that they were better than you, then they would have came in and said, "Hey, listen, I want to challenge Keilen, and I'd have put you guys in the chutes, and who would have came out the end."
Yeah, hey, nobody had ever said that.
No. No.
They never said that to you?
Me? No.
No. Because I always felt the tensions. I just didn't, know.
That's a normal human reaction, I think. Yeah.
I think it's easier to do that than to really put yourself out there and say, no, I'm gonna call X person out and we're gonna find out. You know what I mean? It's easier to just say, oh, I should have this, or somebody did that, or but no, I mean, nobody would have come to me. It would have been on Ron's doorstep, and he killed that real early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking. One thing, Ron, from 97 to 2000, that kind of 3-year period, you had 3 NFL players at different times, not all at one time, but you had 3 different guys who went on to play in the NFL. You had Anthony Floyd, you had Brad Smith, and you had Keilen Dykes. What I wanted to ask about Keilen was, like, when did you know and see, like, hey, we got a real special kid here? So, I mean, you knew once a kid's playing as a freshman, that's a real special thing. But, like, when did you think, like, wow, I think he's got it?
Probably how he weathered that freshman year.
That Monday.
When we had the conversation after practice about, you ready for this or not? If you're not, then that's okay. But I'd obviously I'd have been extremely disappointed if he said, I'd rather go down to the freshmen and play with the freshmen. So I think, that's a step in the right direction. And then, the proof was in the pudding. I mean, how he carried himself and how he played indicated that he was going to be a special talent.
Like, when did you? So, obviously, that mental piece there, that mental toughness was there. Like, going into his junior year, did you feel like, he might be a D1 guy, or was it like after that junior year? Because I think that's when all the West Virginia stuff started kind of happening.
Yeah, that's when I was getting. Yeah, after my junior year.
I think I'd be phoning this if his size wasn't an indicator. I mean,
sure.
I mean, he's as a sophomore, what were you, 6'4"?
Yeah, 230 probably.
Yeah, 230. Okay, and knowing, wow, as much as he lobbied to be a tight end and a fullback and whatever, I mean, we wanted him to be a cornerstone on the offensive line, but knowing full well that that would be pretty impressive to put him at either one of those positions. So, I mean, and to have a big guy with a big heart and willing to work, those are ingredients for success. And
I have to say, one of the things that helped me be successful in college and in pros was you playing me on offense at tight end because you would move me around so much. And just me learning the plays. I remember my junior year, it'd be K lead, 36 zone, or K up, or me playing in the slot at receiver.
Sure.
I remember I would. And so when I got to college, hey, you got to learn all 3 positions. I mean, it was simple to me. And in the NFL, which is pressure's really on, and you're trying to make the team and trying to make the roster. Hell, I knew all the positions, so if the nose tackle went out, hey, I remember I just ran right in, like, hey, I know it. You know what I mean? So I thought that helped me, and I give that credit to you. Hey, I remember just in high school, I was playing fullback. You have fullback, tailback, tight end, wide receiver. I mean, hell, I remember in the Louisville game, there was a couple plays you kicked me down to guard. So I was wearing 11, playing guard a couple times to run power or something like that. So, yeah, I remember you would line me up all over the field.
Yeah.
And
well, and again, if I didn't think you could do it, I wouldn't have asked you to do it. So, I mean, that's a statement in itself. To have that kind of faith in a player, to ask him to do those things.
Yeah. I remember that vividly, just knowing all the plays. Because I remember kids would ask me, it's like, man, how you know all the plays? I was like, I don't know, man. It's just we run through them so much. I guess it's just natural now. But back to the freshman thing. I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to be, saying I'll be sitting here lying. There was a couple times I would look up and see the freshmen leaving.
They're done.
They're done. And I was thinking, like, damn, I got another hour. Never get it. And, they was good that year, too. I remember they lost, like, 1 game on a Hail Mary pass against Boardman. And I remember who was the coach with Coach Guy? I forgot that guy's name. Coaching the freshmen.
Coach Satchery?
It's Coach Satch.
Yeah,
I remember
Satch.
Coach Satch used to tell Coach Guy to put in prevent defense. And Coach Guy never put it in. And so Boardman ran a play against last play, scored the touchdown, and they won the game. So and I think that was their only loss. But, yeah, there was a couple times I would look up there. I'm like, damn, I wish I was those guys. They would leave because they would get done about an hour, maybe hour 15 minutes before us, and they'd be gone. I have to see the cars leaving, parents picking them up. And I remember, man, I got another hour. That was how I could tell how much longer. That was my tell for how much longer we had at practice by looking up there and seeing them guys leave. Like, man, I got another hour.
Did we have the lights on the field then?
Telephone
poles up?
Yeah, we would go. And I remember when they would leave, like during later in the season, we would go up there and turn the lights on and we have to still practice it for another hour, which we probably needed at that year. And I remember Coach Saunders said that y'all used to watch film and all that till 2 a.m. in the morning.
Well, that was on weekends.
On weekends. Yeah. And then I guess when we got better, you guys would leave at 7. But
I don't know about that. I don't recall any 7.
There were some times where it was. I mean, it's still a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
That's like 7 a.m. Ron would come in, have his big breakfast, the big breakfast from McDonald's, and we'd be watching film and getting ready for the next week.
Well, I can validate that when in '97 when we exchanged film for the state championship game, we met through the morning. Mm-hmm. We started meeting. We got the film exchange. I send guys down halfway point to Columbus, and we got the film exchange at about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and we met through into the morning.
Mm-hmm.
From like Saturday night to Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Yeah.
Did you go? Did they give you a day off like Monday?
Yeah. Yeah, Bob Spencer called me and said you don't have to come in.
Yeah. So you guys worked. Now I just wanted to, as we kind of wrap up here, I was looking over your West Virginia career. You had quite an experience personally, and that at that time, West Virginia was probably as good as they had ever been.
Well, I tell you, there was a lot of similarities from Chaney. Truthfully, is why I kind of picked it. I mean, I remember they was running zone. They would run zone. That, like I said, that's what
I
saying.
was not similar to that.
No. That's Coach Rob was. But I'm saying about I was not on the field, but the way the program was, and it was just the feeling that I had when I went down there. And like you said, that I always say those were the golden years of West Virginia. But yeah, we had some good players. I mean, there were some players that came in, myself included, that kind of started turning the program.
Yeah.
I mean, before I got there, Don Nealon was a great coach, and he did some great things. But Don Nealon, who was like every 3 years, boom, they have a great season. It was like back to back. And of course, it also helped that we had, I feel like, one of the best duels in college football at the time with Pat White and Steve Slayton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it was great. I mean, I loved it. I loved those players. And the greatest thing I think personally for me was being named team captain my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said though we that was the year we should have played in the national championship against Ohio State. And I always felt like we would have beat the Buckeyes that year, because earlier that year they lost to Illinois, and Illinois ran kind of like the same offense we ran. But I always felt like we had way faster and better players. But that was the year Pitt came into town and beat us. And then the crazy thing is, so we lose that. I lose out on the national championship. Then I go into the pros, go to the Super Bowl, and play the Pittsburgh Steelers. I lose to another Pitt team at the end. So, but yeah, it was a great run. I was first team All Big East 2 years. At one point, I had the most starts at West Virginia.
Yeah, I was reading that.
Yeah, at one point I was that, but I credit that, to my family, my mom, my dad, and you guys too. You guys are part of that with me. Being there. Like I said, there were some tough times, and I would see other players fall out, and I'd be thinking like, hell, what the hell? It's just another regular day on the Chaney field. You know what I mean? And so, I credit that to y'all. I mean, from the program, from working out, getting up early, working out, doing the conditioning drills. And we had a crazy guy, the strength coach, Mike Barwis, and he would do some, I think every strength coach is probably crazy in college. They always got you doing some, backflips off the wall, some crazy stuff like that. But yeah, y'all had a great, I remember us being out there all day just conditioning, doing drills, getting better. And I felt like me transitioning to college, you guys really prepared me for it, for, football, of, doing the drills, being there all day. I felt you guys really helped prepare me for, how college life would be, how the football program would be ran, and even down to, y'all had the, we eat the pasta on Thursday before the games. I felt like that was a big thing. We had the coach, was it Mr. Wilson, bring the pasta in. Yeah, and bring the pasta in, and my guy Joe Wilson being there with the equipment, and I felt, I'm telling you, it felt like, you go play college, you feel like, hey, you guys wasn't far off from a college program. Yeah, they had they had more resources, of course, but hey, I remember, before the games, Joe Wilson handing us out those, it wasn't Gatorade, it was some kind of sports drink that had Brett Favre on it. You remember that? You remember it? It was like before a Fitch game because it was going to be humid the next day, but you had like these big
Powerade.
Yeah, it was a Powerade. I don't know.
Like All Sport or something.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. And he would give them out, and we would drink it. And so yeah, I remember those. And like I said, it wasn't far. I mean, I feel like being at Chaney was really, and I'm sure any kid that went there would say, I mean, you always used to tell me, coaching is the easy part, but getting stuff ready, getting, make sure kids have their physicals, preparing, and all that. That's when you earn your bones, really. I feel like, and I feel like you always had everything we needed. You always had. You know what I mean? Even if you charged us $5 for a mouthpiece if you lost it.
Well, that money didn't go to me.
I mean, if kids needed spikes, you had spikes for them. If they needed gloves, I mean, you had it. You had that thing rolling. And,
You talk about Gatorade. I remember playing South when South was still open. On a Saturday afternoon, and it was like today. It was 90 degrees. It was brutal hot at YSU. And we're playing, and Joe Wilson came to me and said, "Coach, I forgot the Gatorade." I said, "Joe," so I gave him $50, and I says, "Go across the street to the Fast Check and buy every bottle that they have."
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, man, you had it prepared, man. You was always, in like you said, preparation. I remember your podcast. I was like, well, ain't nobody gonna be more. If we lose, like you said, it wasn't because we was just, not prepared for the game. I always thought we was prepared physically, conditioning wise, of course. But like I was telling you earlier, a lot of us, during the podcast, we come out there with about 30, 40 players, but there's only about 15, 16 of us that was going to play. Yeah. And I felt like we was in great condition and ready to step out there and represent Youngstown, and Chaney in a great way. And, you talk about the great years I had at West Virginia. I tied the most, I think I broke the record. We broke the record at West Virginia for the most wins over a time period. Mm-hmm. And same thing at Chaney. We tied for the most wins over the 3 year. Well, actually,
27.
Actually, I have 31. Yeah, I got. 30, I got 31 wins.
Yeah, 31 and 12.
Yeah, I got 31 wins, baby. So
there we go.
I got 31 wins at Chaney, man. So yeah.
I mean, Ron, any kind of final thoughts or anything that you kind of want to add?
No, it's just great. First, great seeing you. I mean, it's been way too long. I really appreciate you coming in and doing this. And, just typical of the kind of giver that you've always been. And you gave that kind of attitude and that kind of effort to the program, and we were successful because of guys like yourself and the guys that played with you, and really, really appreciate you doing this.
Oh man, it's an honor, really. The pleasure's all mine, and I'm glad you guys are doing this, and I hope y'all keep this thing going. This is I know, yeah.
Keep it alive.
Keep it alive, man. I know I was just one, but I'm sure there's a lot of players that probably want to jump on here. And
they're standing in line.
They're standing in line?
Yeah.
They're standing in line. Well, that's a testament to you, man. They want to be and they want to be in your presence, man. Truthfully, it truthfully is an honor to represent Chaney and being at Youngstown and representing it, and also being coached by you, man. It was a great, like I said, it was hard times, but what you're saying, or you stick and stay, it paid, man. And I felt like it paid for me personally. So, yeah, I have nothing but great things to always say about you and Coach Saunders and I'm glad you started this, man. And I just wish we would, I ain't gonna lie. I've been out on a hunt trying to find game film, any type of game film from guys, but I guess it's harder. I guess I ain't got the pool like I thought, but yeah, like I said, hey man, I want to keep trying to grind it out and trying to find game film because I read the comments. I see a lot of guys want to see older film, and I like to see it too. Like I said, I grew up when I first started. I grew up watching you guys on TV Sunday morning, early in the morning, playing East Wilson and Rand. And that's how it started for me. That was my introduction into Chaney football. So, yeah.
Well, we it's just good to kind of get an opportunity to see you for so many years, growing, talking about your daughter, right?
Oh, yeah.
Talking about like all these things.
Yeah,
and
volleyball hollering, man.
Yeah,
we coming.
and reminiscing. So, maybe we'll get you back on, talk a little bit about more college and your pro career, and
most definitely.
And it's good. We're gonna keep doing it, and I think it's just good to capture some of these thoughts and memories and give people an opportunity to.
Oh yeah,
talk. So.
Yeah, it was all great memories, man.
Tradition continues.
Tradition, yeah.